this edition of Canton Contact. I'm your host, Peg Stevens. My first guest today is here to tell us about a special partnership between the Village Theater at Cherry Hill and the Michigan Shakespeare Festival. Here with all the exciting details is the Michigan Shakespeare Festival's producing artistic director, Jan Blix. Jan, welcome back to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I had a good time last year. It was nice to get the call.
Well, we were so excited to hear that the Michigan Shakespeare Festival is coming back to Canton.
We are coming back, and we're really excited. We had, at the end of last year, a 17% increase in audiences from the year before, and we think a large part of that has to do with being in Canton, being in Wayne County, and having that audience base. One of the things that has often happened to us in the past in our home theater in Jackson is that the drive is just so long, and people will come and see maybe one show. By having half the season at the Village Theater, we had a lot of people who were saying, I used to just see one show, and I was able to come in and see all three.
Oh, how exciting.
And yeah, that was lovely. So we thought, wow, all right, this went well. Let's do this again.
Excellent.
And so we're doing it again.
Now, before we get to your current season, why don't you give us a little bit of a background of the Michigan Shakespeare Festival?
Well, the festival's actually 22 years old. I know. It started as an outdoor adventure in the park kind of thing, and it was non-professional, but over the years it grew. In 1997, they hired John Neville Andrews to be the artistic director, and at that time they started hiring professionals. And in 2004, it went from outside to inside, and this was around the same time that it was declared the official Shakespeare Festival of the state of Michigan by the Michigan legislature and the governor, and we've got all these lovely signed things in our office to show people. Thank you. And so we've been expanding for many, many years. One of our big things is reminding people that we exist. There is a Michigan Shakespeare Festival. But it's just been in the past couple of years that we made the decision to do half of our season in Jackson, which is where our home is, and to do the other half of the season somewhere with a higher population density and where a lot of our regular audience members are coming from to try and get closer. And what was lovely about finding the Village Theater is that the footprint of the Village Theater, that like how the stage is laid out, how everything comes together, is very similar to our home space in Jackson. And what that meant is we didn't have to make big changes to the shows. We didn't have to redesign the sets. We didn't have to change the sound quality because we were able to just pick it up and move it over and put it in. And that has been incredibly helpful to us, and it's been wonderful. And the people at Village Theater have been so welcoming and so wonderful to us that we're kind of loving how this worked out.
Well, they are so happy to have you. Let's talk about the lineup for this season. What can we look forward to seeing?
Well, every year the MSF produces two Shakespeares. One of them is a well-known, well-beloved show, and this year that is As You Like It, which is a fun romantic comedy, and it is being directed by Robert Kozlerick, who directs for us a lot. Last year he directed The Rivals, and he's done a lot of our most popular shows. And what he's doing is he's just deciding to make it a fairy tale. You know, the girl goes off into the woods and her life changes completely. She is in love, they get together. It's all very, it's very fairy tale, and it's lovely. It's absolutely beautiful.
And it's a nice comedy, too.
It is. It is. And the side characters are hilarious, and you've got clowns and shepherds and all of this running around, and there's some wonderful joke bits that are going with like the sheep in the show. So, I mean, it's funny and it's light and it's wonderful. And then the second Shakespeare show that we always do is a show that's lesser produced, that people might not have seen anywhere else. And this year we are producing Richard II.
Which you're directing, I believe.
I am directing, yes. And Richard II, now that I'm working on it, now that my hands are in it, I can't believe more people don't do this show. It's an awkward show. It's a history. But it's very dramatic and it's funny in certain places. It's got a lot of the qualities that Hamlet has, where even though the storyline is very serious, the lead character has lovely moments of humor and life. And he is, the basic story behind it is that Richard II was crowned King of England when he was 9 years old. His father had predeceased him, and so he inherited the crown from his grandfather, who had reigned for 50 years. So this 9-year-old kid ends up being crowned king. The story starts right before he is deposed, and this is 20 years later after that. But what has happened his whole life is he has struggled with his uncles who have fought for control. He has struggled with trying to maintain control, and he's not someone who had a great history of being a warrior. He didn't have that background that most kings of that time had. So he just did it his own way. And as the play progresses, one of his cousins ends up, who is a great warrior and is well known, his cousin basically deposes him on the throne. And it's tragic and funny and interesting and strange. It's great. And Robert Kozlaric, who is directing As You Like It, is playing Richard II for us this year, which is kind of a lovely, he's an incredible actor and he's never acted for us before. And so this was kind of a big deal.
Oh, what a treat.
Yeah. And then our third show, we're breaking away from anything we've ever done before. Our third show has always been a classical play that is not by Shakespeare. We've done Moliere, we've done Shaw, we've done Wilde, we've done all of these different playwrights. This year, we are doing an adaptation of literature. We are doing Karen Tarian's play, The Killer Angels, which is based on the Pulitzer Prize winning Michael Shara novel about Gettysburg, the Battle of Gettysburg. So it's 12 guys doing the 4 days of the Battle of Gettysburg, and it's linked together with music, and it's really a gorgeous play. And people are always asking me, why is the Shakespeare Festival doing this? Well, when Karen wrote it, she really wrote a Shakespearean history play. It's got that style and that tone. It's in the Shakespeare history plays, you've got lords and kings making decisions that change the course of their country. The Killer Angels is about the generals and the decision makers during the Battle of Gettysburg. And it goes back and forth between the camps, and it really explores both sides of everything. Like our Confederate guys are not villains. Our Federalists are not heroes. It's mostly like, why are we fighting this? And it's glorious. The music in it is incredible. It's all live performances. And I just think that it's something that no one around here has ever seen before. It is a Michigan premiere. And I'm just so excited to be bringing this. I'm directing this one too, bringing this one to our audiences. I think they're going to absolutely love it.
Oh, how fascinating.
I know.
Now, who should attend these productions?
We don't have, we don't put a thing outside that says no one under 18 or anything like that. But it is classical language. Kids are going to do okay for As You Like It. They're just not going to get a lot of Richard II because it's political and it's very emotional. They might enjoy The Killer Angels, but again, The Killer Angels is pretty violent. So I would say personally, as a parent, my kids see everything that I do, but it's also because I talk to them about it and prep them for it ahead of time. If you're just looking at a fun family kind of adventure, I say go with As You Like It. But we have kids, and when I say kids, I mean like 10 to 13, who attend every year and have a blast. I wouldn't go much younger than that.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
We're almost out of time, so where can folks get tickets to see these world-class productions?
The best thing to do is to go to our website, which is www.michiganshakespearefestival.com, and there are pages that come up for whether you want tickets in Canton, whether you want to get them in Jackson. All of that information is there, and you can click through and buy online.
And you get special discounts if you go see all three.
Yes, we have. If you get the Flex Pass and you do the entire course, you get a huge discount than if you were to just buy them individually.
Jan, thank you so much for stopping by and telling us about this great opportunity to see world-class entertainment in Canton.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
We will be right back with more Canton Contact.
This plus this equals this plus this and this. Don't drink and drive. This plus this equals this plus this and this. Don't text, and drive.
Welcome back to Canton Contact. My next guest is here to tell us about a very special fundraising event that's scheduled to take place in Heritage Park to benefit the Wounded Warrior Project. Here with all the details is event organizer and owner of Old Glory Flags and Flagpoles. Joining me now is Rich Keenan.
Hi, Peg. How are you?
Very well, thank you. I'm so
Great.
glad you stopped by to tell us about this exciting fundraising event.
Great. I appreciate it. I'd love to talk about it. So
What do you have planned for us?
my business for the past couple of years has had a golf outing over at Washington Country Club, and we've had a fair amount of success with that. We've raised about $93,000 over the first 2 years. Last year, I met a gentleman by the name of Dan Nevins down in Jacksonville, Florida. My wife and I were down there visiting, had an opportunity to stop at Wounded Warrior Project. And Dan gave us talk to a bunch of people in the room, and I was completely blown away by this guy. He was one of the most inspirational people I've ever met in my life. But as he talked and he spoke about the difference that Wounded Warriors had made in his life, I couldn't really figure out what was wrong with him physically, because he moved around like any other person, looked like he had no physical ailments whatsoever. And he was about 20 minutes into his talk, and all of a sudden he lifted up his pant leg and said, "That was the day that I lost both my legs." Well, Dan lost both of his legs below the knee over in Iraq about 10 years ago. And just spoke and was an incredibly inspirational character. I was just blown away by his whole story and everything that transpired in his life, that when he was done, I actually chased him out of the room and I said, "Dan, I got to get you up to talk to my guys at this golf outing because they'd love to hear your story." He said, "Let me check my calendar." Well, of course, he had a conflict and couldn't do it. Long story short, Dan left Wounded Warriors to pursue some other initiatives in his life. He got focused on yoga. He met a young lady who had told him that she thought that yoga could help him spiritually and help with his PTSD. And there's a number of stories out there. I think Dan has appeared on NBC Nightly News and even CBS, but his first statement was along the lines of, "I don't own any spandex, I'm not doing yoga." And she finally convinced him to do it. And apparently the first time he did it, he felt this awakening and he felt this huge release, and it was something that he knew that he could really focus on the rest of his life. He thought that it was something that made such a profound difference in the way he thought about things, the way he felt, that his life goal was really become to bring yoga to veterans across the board, because he thinks it'll help their focus. So without belaboring the point, he left Wounded Warrior Project but still has some contact with them. When I contacted them this year, I said, "I'd love to get Dan Nevins up here." And I threw out to them, I said, "If you can get Dan to come up and talk at our golf outing, I told Dan that I'll somehow work with Phil LaJoy here in Canton and we'll throw a yoga event for Wounded Warriors as well during the same weekend." Well, of course, they got back to me a few minutes later and said Dan's very, very excited about it. In fact, he's more excited about the yoga event, I think, than he is speaking to the golfers. But that's great. So we're having our golf outing at Washington, which is already sold out, on July 29th, which is Friday. And then Saturday morning on July 30th at 9 o'clock over at Heritage Park. We're going to have the yoga event, and Dan will come out and speak to all the participants, tell you a little bit about his life, and we'll do the yoga exercise, for lack of a better term.
Oh.
I'm not sure what they call their sessions.
Sure, yes.
But all proceeds from the event will basically go to the Wounded Warrior Project, just as the golf outing will as well.
Oh, wonderful. It sounds like a great
Good.
opportunity.
Yeah, it's. I'm pretty excited about it. My wife is into yoga. I've never done it myself. I'll try to do it that day. But I think whether you're into yoga or not, I think it's a great opportunity for anyone that wants to come out and just listen to someone who's got a great inspirational story. And it's a great opportunity to benefit the Wounded Warrior Project.
Absolutely. Now, is there a fee to participate?
There is. It's $35, and with the $35, you will get a yoga mat that'll come in a case with the Wounded Warrior Project logo, and you'll get some other goodies as well, like some of the wristbands, etc. But all proceeds from that, 100% of it, will go to the Wounded Warrior Project in Jacksonville. And they just do some incredible things with the wounded veterans returning from the Iraq and Afghanistan wars. And I couldn't be prouder of the guys that I have working with me. We've got a committee of 8 people, and they've just done fantastic work, and it's for the greatest cause in the world.
Now, for folks at home who, like yourself, may not be into yoga,
Sure.
Is this a session that they can benefit from?
I believe so. I mean, I'd hate to say yes, and they say, well, but I know that a lot of people that have tried yoga have found the benefits right away. Again, I've never tried it, but I know that it's very relaxing for a lot of people. People with physical ailments. I've got a bad back, for instance. I know a lot of people that have back problems have stated that yoga has helped them out immensely. As I've tried to market this thing, I've stopped at some of the local yoga studios, and I've just been very, very impressed with the different stories that I've heard from some of the owners of the studios. Many of them have different focuses. I mean, you know, they're focusing on cancer patients. They're focusing on people that have physical disabilities or other ailments, et cetera. And it's, I don't want to use the term cure-all by any means, but it seems as if it's one of these practices that is benefiting people in a multitude of ways.
Oh, absolutely.
That, I think would be a great opportunity if you want to give yoga a try to come out and give it a try for that morning, and if it works out for you, you can continue with one of the local yoga studios, excuse me, but at the same time, even if not, you're benefiting the Wounded Warrior Project, which is a great cause.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Now, for the folks at home, where can they find out more information and to register?
Well, they can actually contact the township, and I think you guys are going to put up a website underneath.
CantonFund.org.
Great. You can contact CantonFund.org, or you can contact our store at Old Glory Flags in Livonia, which is our 800 number is 800-454-3773. And if you call us, we can get you registered, and you can give us a credit card over the phone, and we'll get you all set. And you show up that morning, and we'll get you your mat and your other stuff, and we can get going.
Excellent.
Great.
And then we're almost out of time, but if you wouldn't mind just recapping the where and when for folks.
Again, it's going to be on Saturday, July the 30th at 9 o'clock in Heritage Park here over in Canton. Which
Outdoors, it'll be beautiful.
Outdoors,
We're hoping for
right,
good weather.
right at the amphitheater. And we're looking for a great event and praying for sunshine. So.
Excellent.
Great.
Well, Rich, thank you so much for stopping by and telling us all these great information about
Great.
this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, really.
Thank you for having me, and thanks to all who support the Wounded Warrior Project.
We will be right back with more Canton Contact.
Hey folks, Canton Township has an app. My Canton is the official mobile app for the Canton community. The app provides a connection between the township and its citizens and visitors. Enjoy convenient access to local officials, businesses, and event registration. Whether a resident or visitor, this app delivers access to community news, events, emergency alerts, and more. Download the MyCan app today and connect with the community. Available at Apple and Google Play Store.
Welcome back to Canton Contact. My next guests are here to tell us about National Night Out, a very special community event featuring Not in Our Town Peace Rally, which is scheduled to take place in early August in Heritage Park. Here with all the exciting details is Recreation Coordinator Jennifer Provenzano, along with Canton Community Relations Officer Patty Esselink. Ladies, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I understand that you were both very instrumental in the planning of this event. What do you have in the works for us this year?
This year, National Night Out is scheduled for August 2nd at 6:30 to 8:30 in North End of Heritage Park. National Night Out is a community campaign that goes across the country that gets the neighbors out of their homes to get to know who lives next door to them. So we are bringing that to the Heritage Park area so that the police can interact with the neighbors and let them see different displays that we have. We'll have our police cars, our fire trucks out there. We'll have craft projects for the kids to do. Just a nice evening of getting out of the home and getting to know who's around you.
Oh, how nice. This sounds like a very family-friendly event.
Absolutely.
What sort of activities do you have in the works?
We're combining it this year with our Not in Our Town Peace Rally. So that is we started it last year where we have individuals from the community come together. Just we have such demographics in Canton, different dynamics that gets everybody to learn a little bit about who they live next door to.
Yeah, it's really an effort to celebrate the diversity of Canton, and it couldn't probably be more timely. I think the more we get to know each other, the more we understand each other, the more, and it's a close-knit community, and it's a great way for the people that you don't know yet to get to know them a little bit better. So we'll have, some of our standards, our gold standards, inflatables for the kids, lots of delicious food will be there, summer sort of foods. We'll have also, we're working with the Canton Public Library and the Coalition Against Hate Crimes in Canton. There should probably be a great lineup of speakers that they're still sort of putting together right now. But a really great cross-section of activities for all ages. At the end of the day, we really just want to unite neighbors, have a little fun in the park together, and last year at the Peace Rally, it's just a great feeling. It's a really positive thing to be a part of, and I think there's not enough of those opportunities out there. You don't have to wait to react to something. I think it's really important for a community to come together in a positive way on the front end and to say, we're Canton, we're going to stand together strong, we're going to take care of our neighbors, we know who they are, we care about them. So, the whole idea is really to put something positive out there, to get to know your public safety officers, to get to know your neighbors. So
build that stronger relationship.
Absolutely. Now, this is based on some principles that are celebrated throughout the country. I know National Night Out has been around for a long time.
Absolutely.
Why do you continue to host this type of an event?
Ultimately, if you know who lives next door to you, it's a better community to live in. If I know who my neighbors are, I feel safer in my home. Because I know there's other people out there that are watching my home when I'm not there. So the goal is to get to know who lives around you. When you do know who lives around you, your communities are safer. You know what is normal and what is, you walk your dog through your neighborhood. You know if that car belongs there. You know certain situations. If it's unusual, we want to encourage you to act on that. If you see something, say something. Call the police and have us go out and check them out to make sure that if that belongs there or doesn't belong there. But when you get to know who lives next door to you, you live in a safer and happier environment.
Absolutely. Now, when exactly is this event taking place?
It's going to be on Tuesday, August 2nd, from 6:30 to 8:30 in the north end of Heritage Park.
Excellent. And sort of walk me through the event, since it's only a 2-hour event. What can folks expect?
When we get there, there'll be crafts there. Home Depot's going to come and they'll be able to build birdhouses and things like that. We're going to have art that the kids can create and also see. We are going to feature the different demographics of the community with chalk art and different dances. We'll have a stage there.
Yep, a DJ playing games and live music with the kids, their activities for them. It really is you can drop in at any time. You don't need to necessarily arrive at a certain time for that to happen. Although we will close the event with we're going to make a giant peace sign and everyone will have sort of a candlelight vigil. So it'll be sort of if you want to come for that, it'll probably be near the end of the evening, just so the dark will be there. And, it'll be a great feeling, a great close of the event.
Absolutely. It sounds like it's a very thoughtful event.
Yeah, we hope so. That's for sure.
Now, I know you've worked with other organizations to put this together. Who have you worked with?
Yeah, so I mentioned the Coalition Against Hate Crimes. They're a group of community volunteers and public safety officers that kind of work together to kind of stay on top of happenings and to promote messages of, acceptance and no bullying and those sorts of messages. So the Canton Public Schools have been a part of the conversation. There are a really large, the library, a large number of very active community organizations that have played a part in it as well. Some local businesses are supporting us in this. So the list is probably too long to name them all specifically, but a lot of community partners come together to make something like this happen.
Working together.
That's right.
And with the coalition being on a local front, the national is the Not in Our Town. And that is an organization to block out bullying, acceptance for all in a community. Pretty much like we said earlier, it's for everybody to come together as one. You need support. And if this is a big support group that you can reach out to and if you need anything. So those are a couple of the organizations that we are dealing with.
Now, who should attend this event?
Everybody.
Yeah, we'd love to see all of Canton there.
All
for
of
sure.
Canton there. We would love to get everybody in the neighborhoods to come out to the event, young and old, it doesn't matter. No matter of your religious background, anything, come out and enjoy a little bit of partnership with the people that live around you.
And why do you think it's important for individuals to get to know the first responders?
A lot of times, people may only know the police department or the fire department from what they see on television. Without actually interacting with us, they don't know that we are just people. And so when you come out to the events like this one, we will have the police car there. The kids will get to see exactly what the inside of the police car looks like. We'll have our motorcycles. We'll have police officers there to interact with with everybody out there. We'll have some fun games that we'll play just to know that we are just human. We are people just like everybody else. So just trying to build that bond so that they know, hey, if I'm coming to your house, you kind of already have that relationship with the police or the firefighter before we get there.
We're almost out of time, so if you wouldn't mind, where can people go to get more information?
They can go on our Canton Public Safety website. It will also be on Nextdoor if they are affiliated with Nextdoor. And again, it's August 2nd, 2016 from 6:30 to 8:30 in the north end of Heritage Park.
Great. Thank you so much, ladies, for telling us about this very special community event.
Thanks for having us.
Well, that's going to do it for this edition. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time on Canton Contact.